This is a story that came out earlier this week in Axios. They've changed the title a couple times. Old Yeller, Biden's private fury. In public, President Biden likes to whisper to make a point. In private, he's prone to yelling. Behind closed doors, Biden has such a quick trigger temper that some aides try to avoid meeting alone with him. Some take a colleague almost as a shield against a solo blast. The president's admonitions include, "God damn it, how the fuck don't you know this?" I thought it was, nowadays, it's probably, "God damn it, how the fuck do you know this?" Like when they turn the microwave on. "God damn it, how the fuck do you know how to..."
You know what? And not to be, you know, like when you are early stages of dementia, you could be getting upset because you don't realize what you think is happening is not happening. So you're getting upset for that reason. And that could be the case with this. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know.
Well, Russell floated that exact theory. Go ahead, Russell.
Yeah, you know, my grandmother had Alzheimer's, and what I found with it that was fascinating and tragic was your mind has a pattern of how you think, and it comes out in the cadence of how you speak. And someone with Alzheimer's, from observing her, those things don't change, but it's like your mind is going down the drain. So the circle of your thought gets tighter and tighter and smaller. But all the way to the end, she was like, and so the man came down the hall to me, and it's like same cadence, same thinking, but nonsense. Just nonsense behind it. So look, this is the first time something like this has been written about him. Like I've heard this before, that he's a fucking asshole, that he is a screaming maniac, abusive guy to work for. This isn't the first time this has come out. They actually mentioned that in that article, that there was a 2012 book that talked about how he was this tyrant. Yeah, but I think, he's got dementia, and that doesn't change you. It accentuates how you are, especially because if that's his deal, to be abusive like that, you got less of a filter now. You have less capacity to restrain and control yourself.
I hear that happens as you get older too. You have less capacity, so maybe it's a bunch.
Oh yeah,
of
you just get less of a filter.
Like you don't give a fuck. Like I'm dying soon. I don't give a fuck. So I'm gonna say, you know, what I want to say. But go ahead.
Well, this is, this is what Russell was talking about. Jeff Connaughton, a former Biden campaign and Senate aide who was chief of staff to Kaufman when he filled Biden's seat in the Senate, wrote about Biden's temper in his 2012 book on Washington corruption. So he told of a time during the 2008 presidential campaign when a 23-year-old fundraising staffer got in the car with Biden. "Okay, Senator, time to do some fundraising calls," the aide said. Biden responded by looking at him and snapping, "Get the fuck out of the car." Okay, so yeah, this goes back.
Fuck a stranger in the act.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. That's a good drop. Good timing on that.
You was saying this now. Why do you think they're okay?
Well, this is what I think.
This now.
Yeah, this is what I think. So if we look out to here, so this portion, we're going a little out of order in the article. That's okay. We're not going to read the whole thing anyway. Biden's temper comes in the form of angry interrogations rather than erratic tantrums. He'll grill aides on topics until it's clear they don't know the answer to a question. A routine that some see as meticulous and others call stump the chump or stump the dummy. Now, I'm sorry. I do not buy that. I do not buy that he is grilling people for information and trying to get to the bottom of all these issues. That strikes me as total bullshit. So to answer your question, CJ, I think this article was written with the subtext, Joe Biden not going senile. I think this is an attempt at a Dark Brandon sort of puff piece, right? Because they can't just come out and put that as the headline. Joe Biden, all there. Joe Biden has all his marbles, right? So they say, let's make him look like a domineering, demanding prick, because that makes him look like an in-charge boss.
Right.
And yes, there's a little bit of sexism to that, because they put the same thing out on Marianne and they made her look like a bitch for it. So I'm not saying they are not unfair to Marianne in that way. I'm just saying, all things considered, who cares, right? She's a non-issue. But that's what I think this is about. I think this is about painting him as a boss, right? As an in-charge guy who wants all the details. And do we believe for a second that Joe Biden is interrogating Jake Sullivan about Ukraine? I mean, does anybody believe that? Or does anybody think this guy's just, you know,
I mean, he might think he is.
Right.
And another thing, we never finished that risk game last night. I got a lot of men on Kamchatka.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. That's what I think this is about.
I agree. Well, like once I actually read it, I was like, yeah, this isn't critical of Biden. This is actually very complimentary of Biden. Right? They're hiding a compliment inside an expose.
Right. Right.
But it's a way of people to talk about it by kind of making it seem like, oh, he's a tyrant, and then when you go and read the article, you can see what they're talking about. Or it could be sort of like what I alluded to this earlier, but it could be that what if he's not interrogating Jake Sullivan, but because of his dementia, he's just going off on people irrationally, going off on people for no reason. And this is their way of sort of telling a story without mentioning it's connected to, you know, his cognitive decline. Like it's without mentioning that they're trying to tell the story. And maybe it just feels like, even with the title, like it feels like, how are they? And now it is Axios. Axios does put out some things that sometimes is not along the lines with the other corporate media, but when you pair it together with other corporate media at least coming out and saying, should Joe Biden run, I'm not sure that this is just not another, but another piece where they're soft pedaling replacing Joe Biden, or that he needs to be replaced. Maybe they're soft pedaling it, and this could be he's a tyrant. This is the reason why we need to replace him, outside of everything but what the issue is, which is his cognitive decline. It seems like what they're going after.
I don't think so. I think they're doing what they did with his stutter. Oh no, he's not losing his mind. He has a stutter.
I mean, this makes him look cool.
Monster.
That's the Dark Brandon meme. Like, that image is the Dark Brandon meme, basically.
Right.
You know, and some of the stuff could be explained that way, but when they put in this stuff where, like, he's interrogating them for information, or here, you know, when they mentioned that, you know, he gave Jen Psaki the treatment, right? I want to say to Biden multiple times, I'll know we'll have a really good, trusting relationship when you yell at me the first time, right? It makes him look in charge. That's what I take from the article, is that he's in charge, and nobody fucking buys that this guy is in charge. So that's
there's no more selling it. There's no more selling of this person. People have seen enough gaffes. They've seen him. Like even if without the gaffes, like literally 3 years ago, watching a video of him 3 years, maybe 4 years ago, versus now, it's like completely two different persons. The way that he speaks, the tone, like it's completely different, two different people. So you don't have to have a medical degree to say, oh, he has dementia. You don't have to say he has dementia. You just know something here, you know, it's just not right. And this is the reason why I think they really don't want to have debate. Now, it's many reasons they don't want to have a debate, but I think the number one reason Joe Biden cannot hold up in a debate, multiple debates, there's no way a debate is going to go well. Like something unrehearsed, something where on the fly you have to be able to make decisions or pivot, something like that. He's not going to be able to do that. And no matter how big the so-called force of debate movement is, they're looking at the bottom line. This guy is not ready for any sort of debate. There's no way under any circumstance we can put him in there, and we don't care if it's people with, you know, pitchforks and torches at our door. There's no way we can put him out there, because once they do, it's a wrap. Once he goes on there and then they're talking about Israel and then he starts talking about something else, you get what I'm saying? He starts talking about a sandwich. It's a wrap for him. they're gonna. Well, obviously he can't be president.
Right. And then what are they gonna do? Because it's a primary debate. It's not once he's up against the Republican, it's too late to do anything. And also, it's easier to prep against the Republican because you more or less know what the Republican talking points are going to be. Whereas you get up there with RFK, who the hell knows what RFK is going to say, right? You get up there with somebody challenging you from the left, they can come at you in a million different ways. It's a lot harder. That's why he was a lot better in the debates against Trump than he was in those early primary debates in like 2019 when he embarrassed himself multiple times because he's running against people.
That's also one person versus 10 people.
Right. Also, there's that. But yeah, no, and you're right. I mean, he's worse now than he was even when he ran the first time. Just this morning, that speech he gave to NATO, we played the first 30 seconds of it at the top of the show because that's all that really made sense. After that, he was just stammering and stumbling and muttering. I mean, yeah, there's no way is he ready for prime time. And I think this piece was a way to sort of try and sneak the point in there that he is.
Please clap.